So I'm chatting with Julieanna Hever, the plant-based dietitian and the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Plant-Based Nutrition. You also just finished a new book about gluten-free vegan cooking, right?
Right. The Complete Idiot's Guide to Gluten-Free Vegan Cooking.
That
I
sounds
co-authored that with Beverly Lynn Bennett. Yeah.
very nice. That'll be awesome because that's something that's getting to be very popular now is gluten-free cooking, not just for allergies, but for people who just want to avoid gluten in general. So great to have a solid resource on that. Now,
Yes.
another resource that I love on your website is your plant-based food guide pyramid. What did you put in there that makes it different from the standard recommendations that people might see, like from the government?
Right. There's a lot of differences. I really didn't like the My Pyramid from the USDA because, well, first of all, it's industry based and food industry helped. And so mine is based on optimal nutrition and getting everything that you need to make sure you're getting all of your phytonutrients and antioxidants and vitamins and minerals and fiber and water and all the stuff that you need to be healthy. So I have at the base of my pyramid fruits and vegetables. So I think that you need to get the majority of your servings from fruits and vegetables. And of course, you can't get all your, it's serving based, not calorie based, because if you're trying to get all your calories from fruits and vegetables, you'd have to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. But what was interesting about the pyramid was we used it for the cover, my first edition of the cover of the Plant-Based Nutrition Idiot's Guide. And then as they printed out the first edition, and then USDA changed from My Pyramid to My Plate. And everything got kind of messed around. So we had to switch over, and that's why I kind of went, okay, well then we'll do a plate too. And the only difference between a pyramid and a plate is that the pyramid kind of shows you what the diet should look like on a whole, like with the foundation being the stuff at the bottom, whereas the plate looks like what your plate should look like at each meal or in general as an average. So my plate is basically a rendition of the pyramid just turned into a plate because overall you should eat the majority of your servings from fruits and vegetables. Half of your day should be fruits and vegetables. And then I have a section above that with whole grains and then legumes, peas, beans, and lentils. And then I gave a special little section for leafy greens because they are so magical and they deserve their own section. They have such a plethora of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytonutrients that are just so unique to the leafy green category. So I think everyone should try to get some leafy greens in their diet every single day. And then at the top of the pyramid, or what would be like the little tiny sliver of the plate, should be your fat, your foods that contain fat, the higher fat foods like avocados, a little bit of nuts and seeds, and then your plant-based milks because you want to make sure you're getting, it's a great way to get some calcium and some vitamin D and some vitamin B12 from the plant-based milk. So I have that in the top section of the pyramid.
That's so neat. I love the leafy green section on their own. They totally deserve their own little star status.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are trained as a dietitian. When you first started training, were you eating a plant-based diet?
Oh no, 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 no. Well, I wanted to. This has been a very
Okay.
long journey for me. I started like in my teenage years reading John Robbins' book, The Diet for a New America.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that it all sounded so right and it resonated within me. And I tried doing a plant-based diet then, but didn't know what I was doing because I was a teenager and my parents didn't know what I was talking about, so I didn't have any assistance. And it was a long process to get to where I understood how to do it properly. And that was part of the grad school and all the nutrition, dietetic internship and all that taught me the foundation to be able to answer the question and know exactly what I need in my diet to keep it, optimal. And I found that everything I read and all my instincts from beforehand ultimately were exactly right. And this is exactly how we should be eating for optimal health and to help the environment and to help the animals. So it kind of all came together. And now I have no doubt in my mind. So I went through the standard training, got a great background in science and biochem and OChem and all that, and also counseling. And then I learned how to objectively analyze the research so that now I could look at all these new fads or all these diets or all these concepts that come up and decide whether or not, like, where to categorize that and put it all into that flow of information that I want to keep giving out.
So what have been the results that you've seen for yourself and for your clients switching to a plant-based diet?
The results between the way I used to practice with the standard American nutrition counseling and recommendations versus the way I teach the whole food plant-based nutrition is like night and day. It is unbelievable. previously, we used to have a diet for each different type of disease, like name your disease and here's the diet, the renal diet, the diabetes diet, the heart disease diet. And we got minimal results, and I used that for many years, and especially when I was a personal trainer and I was trying to get people to lose weight and to get fit. And, we had some results, but the goal was always to maintain someone's health level. It was to maintain their status of disease and to prevent them from having to require more medications. Since switching to a whole food plant-based diet, my clients easily, we get off the medications, actually reverse disease. That happens all the time. And the weight loss is just effortless. It's like this natural progression to an ideal body weight. So I've had amazing results, and I would never go back to the way I was taught to teach ever again.
That's amazing. It can be so motivating to hear about those kinds of results for people, because it's hard to switch your diet. There's a lot of backlash against plant-based diet, and it seems extreme and all that, but the results really speak for themselves.
The results speak for themselves, and it's not extreme. It's just a different language. It's just learning a different way of eating, and it's, people love their food. We love to eat too. It's not like we're suffering and eating cardboard over here. We're eating really delicious foods. It's just we had to learn how to cook and eat a little bit differently, and now it becomes second nature. And everyone that's gone through that transition from eating the way they normally did for their whole life to a whole food plant-based diet, everyone across the board says the same thing. They enjoy their food, they feel better, and they would never look back.
So what are your top tips for someone who's transitioning to a plant-based diet to make it work for them?
Such a good question. I think ideally, everyone needs to think of this as a very positive, optimistic type of adventure. I don't like to tell people you have to eliminate this, or you're going to die, because it's intimidating to people, and people shut down their ears as soon as you give them all of these rules. So my number one tip is to stay positive. And my number two tip is to experiment. Now is the best time ever to really find whole food plant-based options and recipes and ingredients like never before. It's never been like this before. And if you go online for and no matter where you go online, there's so many different bloggers and recipe options and possibilities out there that I think this is really the best time to do this. And I just think that if you go to the store and if you look and see there's so many varieties of different lentils, and maybe you just try one that you haven't tried before, or if you pass by a funny looking fruit that you've always wondered about, just try it, and just start adding recipes and ingredients to your stock, whatever you typically use, your repertoire. That was the word I was looking for.
Yep.
And then and just start incorporating dishes that you like, and then it'll make it delicious. And you should just think about what you're going to add into your diet instead of what you're taking away.
That's such a great idea, is thinking about it positively and experimenting, because healthy cooking really can be fun if you get into it properly.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing some awesome tips. I really appreciate it and had a lot of fun talking to you. Your enthusiasm is very inspiring.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. Take care.
You too.